I found a better monogamous partner and moved on. I've been struggling with my existence for over a few years now. I fail to recognize the difference between right and wrong now. I don't blame anyone but me for this. I let my wife do everything she wanted just to have a happy married life. I followed her in that route, knowing that I didn't like it, but did it anyways to keep her happy. I needed a place to pour out my heart without any hesitation. Who else, than to a stranger, I can say that I let my wife sleep with other men to keep her happy? I, 36 male, have been married to my wife, Bonnie, 32 female, for 7 years. We had known each other for a long time. Bonnie is my best friend's sister, and we were a part of a social group from our early 20s. We were seeing different people initially, but in our late 20s, we fell for each other and got married. We had a beautiful marriage, our social circle was common, and we had known each other for a long time. For the first 3 to 4 years, we never faced any serious challenges in our relationship. Minor disagreements were there, which was normal. But after that, she started nagging about our dull life. She always had complaints about how our relationship was losing the spark. It took me some time to figure out what she wanted. I'll come to that eventually. We were doing everything to keep our marriage refreshing. Went on dates, hiking, vacations, parties, games, everything. Did everything we used to do during our courtship days. Strangely, she wasn't spelling out what she actually wanted from me. She would just rant and crib about getting bored. When I asked her what she wanted me to do, she would say, "Look it up, there are so many new things going on. People are experimenting with new stuff to keep their bedroom life thrilling." So I looked it up. It came up with various ways to spice things up. We started with role plays, sex toys, and then slowly we moved to BDSM. We even took a crash course for that. Yes, it was shocking for me too. I had no clue of its existence. There are professional trainers who train you for that crap. It was fun. I had no complaints. Everything we did was within the realms of marriage, and no third human being was present in between us. Our relationship got better, but my problem was not over. Bonnie was enjoying every new thing we tried, but her happiness didn't last long. She used to get over it very soon and wanted something new always. It was like drugs to her. The initial dose that makes you happy doesn't keep you satisfied when you do it over and over again. You always want more. After a year of this, I ran out of ideas and almost gave up, but we still continued with the stuff I mentioned above. Things got wild after our South Asia trip. We were put up in this public island in South Asia, and we found several massage parlors there. There was something off about those massage centers. Firstly, it said erotic massage, and your private masseur, masseuse. Secondly, one of the highlights in the advertising board said, your identity is confidential. Like what the hell? Bonnie was curious about the whole thing. She went and inquired more about it. It was about getting a massage from the opposite gender with more focus on the private parts. I rolled my eyes and got over it, but Bonnie didn't. She pressured me to try it at least once. She portrayed it as some kind of Asian cultural stuff, but trust me, it wasn't. On the day of our return, we finally tried it. So, I enter the private cabin. There's a woman in a bikini waiting for me. I lie down. She starts with a back rub. She literally throws herself on me. I can feel her front, you know what I mean, on my back, and then she asks me if I want her to get rid of her clothes. I panicked and said no and asked her to stop. I honestly thought that to be some kind of a scam or honey trap something. I got dressed and rushed outside the cabin. I called Bonnie, but she didn't answer. I asked for her in the reception and got to know she was inside, enjoying the session. I was anxious, not knowing what to do. I spot a man who looked like someone from the States. Very hesitantly, I approached him and asked him if this is what they do inside. He said yes. They provide all kinds of service, not only the massage. All means literally all. He assured me it wasn't scammy, but they charge you for all the extra services. I was partially relieved that Bonnie was not caught in any scam, but dreaded what was going on inside. After a couple of hours, she came outside with a wide grin on her face. Her young masseur followed her to the front gate, smiling and talking to her flirtatiously, and she reciprocated. We went outside and she asked me how it was. I was like, you knew what happens inside. She rolled her eyes and said yes. I asked her, and you liked it? She grinned and said, yeah, it was so much fun. The guy was so good at his work that I just wanted more and more of him. I asked her what did she do? She was like, normal stuff, erotic massage, and some tongue action. Down there? She nodded. It made me feel all was normal. That's how we got into the game of actual exploration. We came back home and she couldn't stop talking about the benefits of massage. I told her I had no problem with normal spa and massage, which we get often, but not that erotic BS. But she convinced me to try a couple's massage once. After some pushback, I agreed to try this together. We called the professional masser home, and he did what he had to. Bonnie used to be very happy and excited during this entire phase. Our relationship indeed sparkled, and I felt we were again a newlywed couple who just couldn't get enough of each other. This went on for a few months, and then as usual, Bonnie's excitement faded away sooner than I anticipated. Then, one day, she comes and says, "You know, couples who open their marriage are the ones who live happy forever because they are bonded by love and not any other boundaries." She eventually arrived at the point that we should also open our marriage. Obviously, I flipped out. She showed me several research articles that supported her claim. I said we already have professionals coordinating this stuff. Threesome, BDSM, etc. She said she no longer enjoyed it with professionals and now wanted to try it out with normal individuals. She showed me many married couples who were into this, couple swapping and stuff, and they had happy long marriages. I was still not convinced when she suggested that we try it out with one such married couple and see how it goes. She promised that we would stop if I didn't feel comfortable. I agreed to give it a shot. I won't say it wasn't fun or I didn't enjoy it. I did, but it felt like taking an illegal substance. You know how it feels. It gives you pleasure, and you enjoy the highs, but when you wake up the next morning, you feel bitter about your choice. You feel hollow. Eventually, we got into all kinds of stuff, swapping, hookups, and whatnot. Every time, it was about, let's do this once, and then it was like, okay, this would be the last time. All this continued for over 2 to 3 years. Initially, I used to go silent after every session, but then I stopped thinking about it. Maybe everything happened so fast that I wasn't able to process this and just went with the flow. On a side note, yes, our relationship strengthened. We didn't fight, and Bonnie used to be happy. We had set up some ground rules like no emotional cheating, never screwing anyone in our bedroom, not hiding anything from each other, and if we ever get feelings for anyone, we'll stop seeing them and confront each other. A year ago, I met this woman, Ella, and felt that she had the vibe I had been looking for. Yeah, before that, let me tell you that my count in hookups was way less than Bonnie's. Women generally have an easier way out finding men. Bonnie did set up a dating profile for me, but my problem was, I was looking for people with similar mindsets, but people there on that platform wanted action and not vibes. So, after a while, I stopped trying aggressively. Coming back to Ella, I met her at work. She had a breakup recently and was single at the time. She was a contractual employee hired to assist me on a short-term project for a year. We bonded over work, and eventually, I told her about my marital status. She was amazed that Bonnie and I were so open-minded. Ella and I started meeting outside of work hours, and yes, we got into a physical relationship, but the thing was, I got emotionally attached to her. Not only in bed, I wanted to meet her outside. I stopped chatting with other women, and even when anyone hit on me, I avoided them. My equation with Bonnie was not going great. Though we lived in the same house, we had our own worlds. Yes, we were there for each other whenever we needed our better half, but the love was slowly sneaking out. Before I met Ella, there were times when I wanted to come out of this. I even discussed with Bonnie that we've had enough of all this, and now we should switch back to a monogamous relationship. But she was not done yet. She said, okay, but not now. We are still young and unexplored. Then I met Ella, and I stopped whining about this to Bonnie. After a few months, I realized I was getting serious about Ella, which meant I was emotionally cheating on Bonnie. So I confronted Bonnie and told her everything. She freaked out, said it was indeed cheating, and I should immediately stop seeing her. I tried to push back, but she laid a choice, either Ella or her. I chose my marriage and gradually got distant from Ella. She understood my coldness, and by then, her contract was about to be over, and she left the office. I felt lonely again. More than lonely, I had anger and frustration for Bonnie. This was not the life I wanted. A week ago, I was sitting idle and Bonnie was in the shower. Her phone was vibrating. Out of curiosity, I sneaked in. We never checked each other's phones, and we knew what we both were doing. So what's the point? There were incoming messages from someone saved his future. I opened the chat and found she was in a relationship with this man. And the most shocking revelation, she was planning on divorcing me and he was doing the same with his wife. It gave me chills to my bones. I looked for other chats, but found none. She was not chatting or seeing anyone else but this man. I looked up the timeline and found they had been in a relationship for more than a year now. Even when I confessed to her about Ella, she was swearing her love to this man. Yet, she didn't tell me and instead asked me to break up things with Ella. I wanted to confront her right there, but by now, I have become numb. I don't actually feel anything. So, I just kept the phone back and pretended nothing happened. Bonnie and I are almost strangers living in the same house. After a week of knowing this, I don't feel anger anymore. It's more of a betrayal. I have an existential crisis. What I have done with my life. I don't want to confront her. I just want to vanish from here. I have a therapist appointment, but that's after 4 days. I have to sort out other stuff too, but not before letting out my emotions. So I'm here. I know I called for my misery and now I have to deal with it. Yeah, it looks like your wife was looking to divorce you because she couldn't look like the bad guy. She had been cheating on you all alone, and you leaving would mean that she would be the villain and she would have to take responsibility for all that she's done to you. Sounds like you did what you had to op. She really pushed you to the edge. It's hypocritical because she told you to seek out pleasure outside of the relationship and yet gets mad at you for doing exactly that. Update 1. Thanks for the incredible support. It really means a lot. I knew I would be called weak, simp, and all sorts of names. Maybe I'm all of it. A stranger's comment cannot hurt you more than a betrayal from your loved ones. I have attended 2 sessions with the therapist and it helped me clear my head. I basically had 2 choices: confront her and burst their racket, or silently sort out my crap before they attack. I followed the second one. I pulled out my contribution from the joint account. I wanted to change my workplace because this one was close to Bonnie's and under no circumstance I wanted to cross paths with her. I discussed that with my manager and he said that there might be an opening in another location, but that's in the next town. I said I don't mind. He's yet to confirm that to me. I'm also seeking other job opportunities far from this place. Maybe neighboring towns or outside the country. I'll look for the place once the job thing is sorted. I also reached out to Ella. Called out my guilt or desperation, but I wanted to tell her the truth. I asked her for a meeting but she refused. I insisted that I needed to confess the reason for my separation and she agreed. I told her the entire story. Also about Bonnie's plan for divorcing me and my counter plan of ghosting her. She said she was sorry for me but wanted to stay out of this mess. I respect her decision and didn't contact her again. I hired a divorce lawyer to sort out the matter. Our marriage was complicated. It wasn't a case of infidelity. Emotional cheating is not a thing in the law. Not that infidelity is criminalized in states, but it plays a part in alimony. A gentleman from this community cautioned me that a good lawyer can make a lot of difference in alimony and settlement. I hired one of the best lawyers in town. A little expensive, but I hope it's worth it. He assured me he would save me the alimony because Bonnie earned a substantially good salary, if not more. He asked me to remove Bonnie as my nominee from all sorts of legal documents and insurance. That is still in process. So yeah, that's all the update I have for now. Thanks again for all the support. I look forward to comments both good and bad. Update 2. I have quite an update this time. As I mentioned in my last post, I had almost sorted out all the stuff before serving her the divorce papers. The divorce papers were in. Before that I had thought of various ways of bursting her bubble, but when the time actually came all I wanted was peace. I wanted to silently move out. I did the same. When she was at work I packed all my stuff, loaded it on my truck and moved out. I kept the designed divorce papers on the dinner table with my lawyer's contact and a note saying, "Saved your time and energy of preparing divorce papers for me. Here you go." By the time she returned home and found the note, I was already in my new apartment next town. My manager helped me get a transfer to a different office location and found a place nearby. I haven't informed a lot of people about this place. It's just between my brother, my parents, and yes, Ella. We'll come to that in a while. Bonnie contacted me, but I had blocked her from all platforms. I could see her calls and voicemails piling up in the blocked folder. I knew she understood my message. She was no fool. After a while I got a call from her brother, my friend from college, who introduced Bonnie to the group. I didn't respond to him. He sent me an angry voicemail asking me to talk to Bonnie. I was like, how dare you ghost my sister for your lust? If you don't come clean, I'll hunt you and your slutty mistress wherever you are. You can't hide from me. What the F? I opened some of the messages from Bonnie and found she was accusing me of cheating with Ella. This was just so disgusting. I was saving her reputation, but she was sabotaging mine. Instead of responding to his calls, I sent him the screenshots where Bonnie was discussing with her affair partner about divorcing me. He responded, "Can we talk? I don't understand what you guys are up to." I said I don't want to discuss this over a call and asked him to meet me in the evening. He came calm. I told him I didn't want to involve him because she's his sister. I told him briefly about what had to happen between us. Not the kind of details I have rambled on here, but a summarized version of it. He was shocked that his little sister was up to this. He asked me about Ella. Bonnie had told him that I had ghosted her because of Ella. I told him the truth. I didn't need to do this yet. I showed him the emails and chats where I had stopped all communication with Ella. After the confrontation, he was not completely on my side, but he wasn't bitter at me either. He said, "I don't know what to do now. I'm at a fix." I said, "I understand and you don't need to take a side." He asked if I was serious about the divorce. I said yes, and Bonnie was also planning for the same, so it's better we separate amicably. That's all that has happened until now. Honestly, thank goodness you had the evidence you did. Your ex is delusional enough to try to drag your name in the mud. She's just interested in playing around, and you happen to be her little plaything. You said it yourself. She couldn't stop. It was always something. She was always looking for the next dopamine hit. Unfortunately, it sounds like you were never going to be good enough. Update 3. This is going to be a shorter one. After meeting me, Bonnie's brother clarified the matter to her parents. Apparently, Bonnie and her parents were blaming him for introducing me into her life. So, he revealed the whole truth, and eventually Bonnie also confessed the same to him. He texted and apologized to me. Bonnie tried to involve her parents and her brother to get a better divorce settlement from me, but they all left her alone to deal with her crap. She demanded a huge alimony, but my lawyer was harsh. Since she was earning quite well, he didn't let her have anything from me. After a lot of to and fro on the settlement terms, the divorce was finalized. I haven't had any updates about her since then. Last week, her brother called me. During the divorce and even after that, he sometimes used to text me, but it was just about checking up on each other. We never discussed Bonnie. This time, he brought her up. First, he asked me about honestly. I downplayed my emotions and said we were not sure yet. He told me that Bonnie's condition had deteriorated and she had to be taken into therapy. A fair partner has ditched her. There's no better way to say this, but a fair partner realized she's a swinger who jeopardized her stable marriage into a cheap thrill show, and he could not trust that woman. He had promised Bonnie that he would divorce his wife once our divorce was settled, but he ditched her at the last moment. Good for him. He dodged a bullet. I'm not sure if his wife knows about this entire thing. Bonnie is not a fool to have not reached out to her. I'm sure she would have. She would have tried all means to destroy a fair partner's life after he betrayed her, but I don't know anything about it, and neither I asked her brother about it. About me. I have settled quite well in this new town, upgraded my car, have set up the house. Not a fancy one, but a cozy tiny place just matching my taste. Oh yes, I missed out on giving the details about Ella in the last update. So, yeah, we are together now. After my last meeting with her where she wanted to stay out of it, I didn't contact her, but she sometimes used to text me to check upon my well-being. Gradually, we started talking regularly and I gave her updates about my divorce and stuff. We are not an official couple yet, but I find her very mature and understanding, the kind of people I'm into. We are yet to confess our feelings to each other, but unofficially, we are a thing already, and I think she feels the same about me. She had subtly told me that she's looking for a monogamous relationship and in no circumstances she would tolerate any sort of polygamy. I assured her that I'm also of the same morals and that whatever I did in the past was for the sake of my love for Bonnie and to save my marriage. I know she would need time to trust my words, and I completely understand her. I also want to take it slow. Tomorrow is Ella's birthday and she wishes to celebrate it with the special children in the child care home, and I'll be driving her there. I have made all the arrangements and it's going to be a surprise for her. I'm sure she's going to love it. She really loves children and is also associated with the NGOs working for children with special needs. So yeah, I'm looking forward to having a good time with her. It was a smart move for Ella to stay out of things when they got dirty, but I'm genuinely glad to hear that the two of you are together. It sounds like the two of you are actually on the same page. Wishing you all the best, OP. This ain't no cheap thrill ride. What do you make of Bonnie? Do you have your very own Bonnie? Share your stories with us in the comments below. And thank you for joining us today on ArtSpace. Be sure to like and subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on our next video. See you next time.